The night the boy died, the entire village saw it. And yet, 3 days later, he came back. In a small fishing village near the great river, people believed the water had a spirit. The elders often warned children never to play near the river after sunset. The river gives life, they would say, but it also takes what belongs to it. Most children feared the river, but Obinna did not. Obinna was 15, curious and fearless. Every evening, he helped the fishermen pull in their nets. He loved the sound of the water and the cool breeze that came from the river banks. One evening, just before sunset, his mother handed him a basket. "Go and fetch water before it gets dark," she said. Obinna nodded and walked down the narrow path that led to the river. The sun was sinking slowly, painting the sky orange and red. The river looked calm, almost too calm. When he reached the water, he bent down to fill his basket. That was when he heard it, a whisper, soft, slow, calling his name. Obinna. He looked around quickly. No one was there. The fishermen had already gone home. The path behind him was empty. He shook his head and continued filling the basket. Then the whisper came again, closer this time. Obinna. A cold chill ran through his body. He stood up slowly and looked at the water. For a moment, the river looked normal. Then suddenly, the surface rippled, not from the wind, but from something moving beneath it. Before he could step back, the water surged forward violently. Obinna slipped, his basket fell, and within seconds, the river swallowed him. The next morning, the entire village searched for him. They followed the path to the river bank. That was when one fisherman shouted, "Look!" Floating gently on the water was Obinna's basket. Beside it were footprints in the wet sand. They led straight into the river, but none came out. The villagers stared in silence. An old elder sighed heavily. The river has taken the boy. His mother collapsed to the ground crying. For 3 days, the villagers searched the river banks, hoping to find him. But the river gave them nothing. No body, no sign, nothing. On the 3rd day, the elders gathered. Without a body to bury, they prepared an empty coffin. The entire village attended the burial. Obinna's mother cried until her voice was gone. That night, the village was silent. No drums, no laughter, only the sound of wind moving through the trees. Then, suddenly, knock, knock, knock. Obinna's mother froze. Her heart pounded loudly in her chest. She slowly walked toward the door. Another knock came, louder this time. "Mother?" Her breath stopped. That voice. It sounded like Obinna. Her hands trembled as she opened the door. Standing outside in the darkness was Obinna, wet from head to toe. His clothes clung to his body as if he had just stepped out of the river. Her mother gasped and stepped back. Obinna? But something about him felt wrong. His face was calm, too calm, and his eyes looked different. They seemed deeper, darker. "Where were you?" she whispered. Obinna slowly stepped inside the house. "The river did not take me," he said quietly. Her mother stared at him in confusion. "Then what happened?" Obinna turned his head slowly toward the window, where the river could be seen in the distance. "The river was protecting me." Her heart skipped. "Protecting you from what?" For a moment, Obinna said nothing. Then he spoke again. "Something is coming." Her fear felt a wave of fear. "What do you mean?" Obinna looked at her with those strange eyes. "Something older than this village." The wind suddenly pushed the door open behind them. Outside, the trees swayed violently, and from far away near the river, a deep sound echoed through the night. Drums, slow, heavy, ancient. Obinna whispered softly, "The river showed me." Her mother grabbed his arm. "What did it show you?" Obinna turned toward the door. "The village must leave." Her voice shook. "Leave? Why?" The boy looked toward the dark river. "Because tomorrow night it will rise." The next morning, the villagers gathered near the riverbank, and what they saw made their blood run cold. For the first time anyone could remember, the river had turned completely black. Not muddy, not dark blue, black, like a shadow spreading across the water. The elders stood in silence. One of them whispered in fear, "The spirits are awake." Then they turned slowly toward Obinna, but he was no longer standing beside his mother. He had disappeared. The villagers searched the entire village, but he was nowhere to be found. Only one thing remained: wet footprints leading from his house back to the river and stopping at the water's edge. That was the day the villagers realized something terrifying. Obinna did not return from the river. The river returned him.